Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Brad Garbowski, and I represent 375,000 members of the United Association of Plumbers and Fitters in North America and Australia. I live and reside in Honeytown, Maryland, about 20 miles north of the Calvert County Nuclear Power Station. When I relocated to Maryland 15 years ago, I had no reservations about buying a house in that county that close to a nuclear powerhouse. That's because of my first-hand knowledge from working on existing plants and new construction of nuclear power, both of which I participated in. I know what stringent standards these plants are held to in construction, maintenance, and safety and security. In these tough economic times, this plant has provided my community with a stable tax base and jobs. Couple this with the growing effects of greenhouse gas, we should be finding ways to help the industry, not hamper it. The current system of storage has been improved and continues to be studied to find ways to make things more secure and safe. We should be looking more at allowing the industry to reuse and recycle the fuel rods and find a permanent repository for spent fuel rather than imposing some new regulations. Thank you, and we support the NRC findings.
Okay, thanks, Brad. And Susan Shapiro is probably not with us. How about Melinda Krasnick? Let's hold off on Ron for a couple of.
My name is Rod McCall from the Nuclear Energy Institute, and I want to once again thank the NRC for providing this opportunity for seeking out the learning experience that is always. You see so many comments from so many different individuals, so many different perspectives. From the documents, the very thorough, extensive documents that NRC has provided for comment all the way through these meetings, this has and continues to be a shining example of the rigor with which the regulatory processes that cover the nuclear industry work. Dry cast storage systems, they're robust, no moving parts, passively cooled, 100 tons of concrete, steel, and other materials to protect every 10 tons of fuel. Pools are equally robust with 20 feet of water above the fuel, several feet of concrete structures. Of course, the casts are most relevant to the discussion here because over these incredibly long time frames, the fuel will move to the casts. It's decades or less that we tend to do that. Now, I've talked about at some of the other meetings I've had the pleasure to attend and learn from. The robustness of the casks. I've talked about my confidence in the people who manage the casks. It is one of the things that is, I think, underappreciated in the EIS is the human element and very dedicated people who do this. But what I want to talk today is a little bit more about the robustness of the process. A couple things have been mentioned. One is high burnout fuel. That is mentioned in the EIS as an example of how the process works. And I was going to cite a letter that I left back there. But industry has documented its position, and in our comments we will send a letter which we wrote to NRC within the last year that cites 15 different scientific studies which document the technical basis for the safe and long-term storage of high burnup fuel. The high burnup demo project was mentioned previously. That project is intended to further confirm the findings of those studies. And the results of that project, whatever it be, good, bad, or indifferent, will go into aging management plans. Every 40 years, these casts have to be relicensed. NRC has done a very bounding analysis here, talked about repackaging every 100 years, dry transfer facilities everywhere. We don't think that'll happen. But the regulatory process will be what decides what does happen. So we do have a very robust technical basis for storing high burnup fuel, for addressing other technical concerns. It's very forward-looking. One of the things about this EIS is it is a snapshot in time. It looks at the world based on what we know today. If you look at the opportunities for learning that go beyond what we hear at these meetings and go through the aging management plans and the scientific investigations, industry has multiple programs in place to look at all the long-term aging characteristics, not just the fuel, but the casks. Just like we're looking at high burnup fuel, we're looking at various cask degradation mechanisms. Everything with dry storage happens slowly. So whatever we find, we will have time to address it. We will take what we learn and we will move on. I believe as strongly as anybody that we need a permanent disposal solution, and I'm committed to continuing to work towards that. But until we have that, I know our processes will work, they will continue to learn. And throughout my career in this area, the more we learn about this, the more we know, the safer it looks. And I thank the NRC for continuing to facilitate this process.
Thank you. Thank you, Rod.
Thank you. My name is Evan Obisco with the Clean and Safe Energy Coalition. I'm here today on behalf of the Clean and Safe Energy Coalition, or CASE Energy, and our membership of more than 3,200 businesses, organizations, and individuals. Our members support the increased use of nuclear energy to ensure an environmentally clean, safe, affordable, and reliable source of electricity. The CASE Energy Coalition is a large national grassroots coalition with members representing a diverse mix across the business, environmental, academic, consumer, and labor communities. I'd first like to thank the NRC for this opportunity, and having attended a few of these meetings throughout the hearing period, I applaud their efforts to allow all sides to be heard. We're here to discuss spent nuclear fuel, not something that is new, not because of an issue, but because of the way the system works, providing due process to address questions and concerns and ensure the safe operation of nuclear facilities and the safe storage of fuel after it has been used. Spent fuel is currently being stored safely on-site in storage casks as well as fuel pools. Most importantly, it is being stored safely and securely, as it has been for many years and can be for many more. On top of the physical safety measures that are the design of the storage options, the regulation the industry operates under is second to none. American nuclear energy operating facilities are subject to on-site inspections by NRC staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. Stepping back from spent fuel storage, the larger debate I've seen taking place at these meetings is on the future of nuclear energy in general. Plain and simple, if we are serious about addressing climate change and reducing carbon emissions, nuclear energy is a vital part of any viable plan. Nuclear energy currently provides electricity to 1 out of every 5 homes and businesses, yet it accounts for nearly 2/3 of our clean air electricity. In addition to being clean, it is reliable as a 24/7 baseload source of electricity, or put another way, a perfect complement to intermittent renewables like wind and solar. I look forward to a timely resolution of this rulemaking so that the NRC can get back to some of the important tasks they handle each and every day that have been placed on hold while this plays out, including the relicensing of nuclear plants and approval of pending construction applications for new reactors. As the Commission continues these public hearings, I hope to hear a discussion of the facts, and that is that nuclear energy has shown the utmost commitment to safely and securely storing spent fuel, and that will never change, while providing us with clean, safe, and reliable electricity around the clock. Thank you for your time today.
And thank you, Evan. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank the NRC for allowing me to speak today. I work as a nuclear safety performance engineer, and I work on the safety systems that are currently analyzing the spent fuel pool cooling for Fukushima-type conditions. And I take that responsibility to heart. I know the public and our country trusts engineers like me to provide them with the trust that they need to continue nuclear power and in the safe storage of spent fuel. And I believe that the proposed rule is consistent with that. I think the generalized approach is appropriate as it takes into account bounding conditions for wet storage that are way beyond what wet storage is usually used for. It takes into account indefinite long-term storage in dry cask, and those are applicable across the board. As an engineer, I feel confident in that. As a young engineer, I am, however, sometimes frustrated with the safety issues in early generation reactors, and I work hard to make sure that these reactors generating electricity for us are running like new, that their components are replaced, and that we can trust them. We've learned over time that humans aren't infallible, and I am part of a new generation of engineers that is working hard to make sure that reactors rely on the laws of gravity and natural laws that can fail, and moving nuclear to a purely safety age. But these reactors, generation 1 and 2 and 3, were built in technologies from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And computers of that age look ancient now. So technology for nuclear it's not stayed the same either. We have new technology. We're working hard to implement it and getting it through the regulatory hurdles. And I do think that it's going to present a base load and reliable form of cleaner energy for a future that we really need. I chose to be a nuclear engineer because I am a climate change advocate, and I'm realistic about the 21st century economy that we have, about how we're going to implement the changes that we need. And as James Hansen and the top climate change scientists have said, we need nuclear in order to make the transition before the real damage from CO2 feedback emissions happens, the irreparable damage that we'll get from emissions going too high. And in 2011 alone, they jumped by 3%. So to conclude, I'd like to thank the Commission for allowing me to speak today, to be part of this generation that is taking climate change seriously with engineering. And I support the rule, and I think it does a very good and bounding job in addressing the issue at hand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.